Okay, now we're going to do something similar to example 8 in your book. Basically just doing graphing of multiple translations. So either moving up or down on the y-axis along with moving left or right on your x-axis. So a good example would be something like this. F of x equals plus 4. Okay, so right away we see that we have a plus 4 here, so that should automatically kind of trigger you thinking, okay, we're moving upwards along the y-axis 4 points. And then right here, well, that's going to tell you counterintuitively we're going to move to the right along the x-axis at least 1 point. So if for some reason you were thinking about it, you know, instead of starting right at the origin, you're going to move to the right 1 because of this, and you're going to move upwards on the y-axis 4 points. So actually this point here will be basically your new origin, or the maximum or the minimum of your graph. But you should, just by looking at this, you should be thinking of this point. That's exactly what I see when I look at your function here, f of x. But now what we need to do is decide what points actually lie on this graph. 1 second, I gotta do a little bit of erasing. That point there might throw us off down the road. So, okay, so we know this point here is something to keep in mind, so let's go ahead and leave that one. And so let's go ahead and just bust out our chart here, our XY chart, plug in some points for it and see what happens. Again, let's do some more points than just 3, since this is kind of a tricky example. Well, maybe. And we'll just plug these in for x. So if we plug in 2 for x, you're going to have 2 minus 1, which is 1, and it's going to be squared. 1 squared is 1, but we have this negative out front, so it's going to be negative 1 plus 4, which is going to give you a 3. So at 2 on your x-axis, you're going to be at 3 on your y-axis. So that gives you that point. Now let's plug in 1 for x. Well, 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 squared is 0. Negative 0 is still 0. 0 plus 4, that's 4. So at 1 on your x-axis, you're going to be at 4 on your y-axis. And hey, that point's already been marked out by just eyeballing this function. Okay. So now we got both those points on there. Let's look at 0. 0 minus 1, that's going to be negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1, but we still have that negative out front of the parentheses, so it's going to be negative 1. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3, so we got 0, 3. It's going to be right here. Again, plug in negative 1. Negative 1 minus 1, that's going to give you negative 2. Negative 2 squared, that's going to be 4. Again, you have your negative outside the parentheses, so that's going to make it a negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So at negative 1, we're sitting at 0. Let's see. Negative 2, we don't really need it since we already have an idea of the graph, but we'll go ahead and do it. So negative 2 minus 1, that's going to be negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9, and then we have that negative, so it's going to make it negative 9. Negative 9 plus 4 is 5. Wait, what did I do wrong? That should be negative. So let me redo that. So negative 2 minus 1. Oh yeah, I just dropped the negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry about that. Didn't want to confuse you. So as you can see, this side is coming up, and we're going to max out on this graph at 1, 4, and it's coming back down. And it's going to do the same thing over here. If you were curious, you could plug in 3 for x. So let's go ahead and do it. 3 minus 1, that's going to be 2. 2 squared is 4. That negative sign outside is going to make it a negative 4 again. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So at 3, I guess that'd be right here, is 0. So gives you a better idea. So that's your graph. Again, if you have no idea on what to do, just start plotting points or picking values for x and plugging them in through the equation and get a y value, and you'll eventually get enough points on your graph to where you can draw your line through it like I've done, and you'll get your graph. Okay, let's do one more. So if we have, let's say f of x is equal to -2 absolute value x plus 3. Whoops. And again, the whole idea here is to graph it. Let's say we didn't even look at this previous section, so we don't know those ideas or those tips like we had done with this one and gotten this point right up front. So you're just looking at this and you're supposed to graph it. You don't know what to do. Just break out this table and pick some points. So let's do 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. And those are our values for x. Let's start at 0 and work our way, outwards. So we don't have to necessarily do all those points if we don't need them. Here's our graph. So at x being 0, we have x plus 3, which is 3. Absolute value of 3 is 3. So now we have -2 times 3, which is -6. So at 0, we have -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're sitting right here. Okay, let's do +1. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 times, or the absolute value of 4 is 4. -2 times 4, that's going to give you a -8. So at 1, we have a -8. Something like that. Okay. Now let's look at -1. So -1 plus 3 is 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. -2 times 2 is -4. So we'll have -4 sitting here. So we've got -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's go ahead and do -2. So -2 plus 3 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. 1 times -2 is -2. So at -2, we're at -2. Okay, let's keep going until we cross the x-axis. So let's do -3. So -3 plus 3 is 0. Absolute value of 0 is 0. 0 times -2 is 0. So at -3, we're at 0. So we at least know our x-intercept. Let's go ahead and do -4 and see what that does to our graph, because it could go above it or it could go below it. I'm betting it's going to go below it. So let's go ahead and look at -4. So -4 plus 3, that's going to give you a -1. The absolute value of -1 is 1. So 1 times -2, that's going to give you -2. So we're at -4, -2. So yes, it does go down. And as you can see, this side is basically a straight line, other than the poor drawing I have, but it is a straight line. So it is a safe bet for our purposes in this class and the functions we'll be dealing with. You're going to have roughly a straight line going this direction, and that would depict your graph. So now, knowing the tricks that we've already learned in this section, you should be able to look at this and know your origin. This origin is simply getting bumped over 3 spots because of this. You're adding 3 to it, but it's included in parentheses, brackets, or in this case absolute value with your x. So it's going to move it to the left on your x-axis 3 points. But I just wanted to show you, by playing with your table here without evaluating it ahead of time. So just simply by evaluating it with this, you're going to know it's going to start right here. So then you have that idea on where it is on your x-axis, so you can kind of choose better values for your table here. So if I would have evaluated that, I would have started right here at -3, because I would have known that was going to be basically the starting point for your graph. And then I would have chose -4 and -2 for your x values and seeing what it was doing. So that's a tip that you guys can use.